Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the BG Show. I'm here to talk about Star Wars, The Acolyte, the new Disney Plus show. Before I get into spoilers, I just want to address it right off the top. If you're expecting me to critique this show for racial reasons, because there's black people in the show, Latino people in the show, Asian people in the show, because there's women in the show, that's not my critique of the show. So if you're looking for something like that, you are on the complete wrong side of the internet. You are light years away from where you're supposed to be. So I don't do that stupid shit here. Just go somewhere else. I'm getting into Star Wars reasons, Star Wars critiques, why I like the show, why I dislike the show. I just can't stand this woke critique anymore. All these people who aren't even Star Wars fans, every time there's a Star Wars project, just showing up and shitting on it. And honestly, I don't even have a problem shitting on the show, but if you're going to do it, use Star Wars reasons. Don't use stupid, not even political reasons, just racist reasons why you don't like the show. I think it's really, really stupid, obviously. So with that being said, let me get into my Star Wars critique of the show. Okay, this is your official spoiler warning. Do not move forward if you do not want to have this spoiled for you. Right off the bat, I want to say I think you should watch the first two episodes if you're a Star Wars fan. If you're not a Star Wars fan, probably not. But if you are a Star Wars fan, I think give this show a chance. I can't guarantee you'll like it. Honestly, I think it's probably 50-50. You might dislike it. But I think enough people will like this show to give it a chance. With that being said, let's get into spoilers. Okay, I'll start with things I like about this show. The first thing I like is you can tell this was created by someone who likes Star Wars, who knows Star Wars, which I think is always the most important thing. Leslie Headland is a real Star Wars fan. More importantly, she's a fan of the prequels, which I like. You can tell it in little things with nods to the prequels. Even the way that the show cuts, the outro scenes, it kind of like has those PowerPoint transitions, which is a nod to the prequels. A lot of the lines are nods to the prequels. So I really, really like that. I think the plot of the show is good. I think it's set in the right time period. I think it's good to have Jedis. So all that's really, really good. Another strong part of the show, I thought Lee Jung-jae, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Squid Games was really, really good. But that leads me into my first problem with the show, and I guess overall with Star Wars is I don't understand why they're casting rookie actors in these roles. When you look at MCU shows, obviously the characters are already the characters from the movies, but even the new characters, they hire legitimate, real actors. There's such a difference when you realize, so many people are talking about, race and, sex and, what people's skin color is. I think the issue is just quite simply a lot of these newer actors don't have the gravitas, don't have the charisma to really carry these roles, regardless of what they look like. When you think of the the prequels, even the older movies, Alec Guinness, the original Obi-Wan, was an Oscar nominated actor. Mark Hamill wasn't really a good actor, but he didn't need to be. But Ewan McGregor was a really, really good actor. Liam Neeson was a really, really good actor. Christopher Lee as Count Dooku, really good actor. Samuel L. Jackson, obviously, really established actor. And then obviously Ian McDermott, who played Palpatine, really established actor. And then even when you look at the CGI characters like Yoda, like Ki-Adi-Mundi, like Plo Koon, all of the Jedis have this gravitas about them. And I think it really just has to do with acting. It's not even about a woke or this or that. I don't understand why Star Wars, with the budget they have, hire real actors. You can't find someone, people who want to be in a Star Wars show. I don't understand why it's always cameos and it's not just like a real thing. So I think that's my biggest problem with the show is that they're just not hiring well-known actors. I'm not saying a rookie actor can't be good or even that they're, I'm sure these actors have some experience, but I don't know why a show as big as this on Disney Plus, your biggest asset is money. You should never, so that's just a big thing for me. Pedro Pascal was the Mandalorian, and Jon Favreau directed it. So you had a real actor and a real director. And then this show, you have kind of rookies across the board. So to me, that's really the first big problem. Another problem I have, and this is why I'm not blaming the director, because it seems like every single show, other than Mandalorian Season 1 and Mandalorian Season 2, and not including the animated stuff, just has this Disney stank on it. I don't even know how to describe it. Just these shows just look a certain type of way that is just different than the prequels. A lot of the prequels, had some, I know they were CGI heavy, but when you look at all the prequel scenes on Coruscant, on Camino, on Naboo, they just had this, they were shot so well. Even the wedding scene, which, was on Naboo, which is really Italy. These Disney Plus shows always look like they're just on a lot. They always just look, even Obi-Wan Kenobi, like you just kind of look at these characters and I don't feel immersed in it. I don't know if it's the costumes. I don't know if it's the vibe. I don't know what it is. But overall, I'm just going to blame Disney because it seems like whoever they get to work on these shows, other than Andor and Tony Gilroy, who again is a real filmmaker. It just seems like all of these shows have the same exact, what I like to call Disney stank on it, similar to the Netflix stank, because every Netflix show seems to have the same thing too. Um, so yeah, it just does not feel the same. Maybe because I'm watching it at home, but I don't even want to say that because Mando really did feel like Star Wars. This, I don't know. It has a very weird feel to it. One of the positives is I am interested in the villain who we don't know that much about. People are kind of complaining, oh, he ignited his lightsaber for no reason. I guess, but come on, guys. It's a show. It's for dramatic effect. I don't think that's something to complain about. He's got a helmet similar to Kylo Ren. I don't think he'll have a connection really to anyone we know yet, but I still think it's pretty cool nonetheless. We also get this twin storyline going, which obviously is a common theme in Star Wars, with May as being like the villain. So I thought it was pretty cool that way. One of my other critiques of the show is Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix. I thought it was so obvious she was going to die in the first scene. I hate when they give one of these. I like trailers that you don't know what's going on. I hate when they release full scenes. They release the full, like the entire first scene of the show. So when I turned it on, I'm like, oh shit, I've seen this scene already. And I kind of had the feeling Carrie-Anne Moss was going to die because you know this is going to be a murder mystery show, which is the only thing we really know about it. And kind of right off the bat, you know, you're like, oh, this is the thing with the big name actors that I mentioned is Carrie-Anne Moss. Why is she in one scene? Why don't you just pay her the bag, whatever it is, 10 million, whatever you got to pay her, just do it. I mean, as bad as the Marvel shows are, okay, Secret Invasion is probably the worst show, but at least they had Samuel Jackson and Don Cheadle in it, and they paid them. Imagine if they just cheaped out and were like, oh yeah, well, it's a show, so we're gonna have we're just not gonna have Don Cheadle. We're gonna have a rookie actor. It makes no sense. So I think they need to stop. If a real actor is going to be in it, they got to be in it because otherwise you kind of know it's going to be a cameo. That's kind of what I saw happening. It's exactly what happened. That being said, I'm obviously going to continue watching this show. I don't expect it to be a show that I love or that's in my top 5. But again, I'm obviously going to keep giving it a chance. What would my score be of the first 2 episodes? I think I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. It's not a disaster. It's not a debacle. I just think it's not the type of show that I wanted yet. There's still a long way to go. So that's my review. I think it's a fair review. I like things about the show. I liked ideas of the show. I just didn't love the execution of the show. And I really don't know why this can't be the conversation that people have, why people have to. And again, if you want to rip on Disney and say Disney has been a negative towards Star Wars, it's a totally fair opinion. But again, I just don't understand. The entire point of being a nerd, of liking Star Wars, is that shit doesn't get here. The whole time of being a nerd is that we have Star Wars, we have Marvel, we have DC, we have all these things. Even wrestling, I put part of that. WWE. You go to these things to escape. Once in a while things bleed over and you want to support them, fine. But there are so many people that aren't Star Wars. I'm not even trying to gatekeep, but there are so many people who obviously aren't Star Wars fans who just are just engagement farming and are just trying to use Star Wars because they know it gets clicks, and it's so annoying. So at this point, either if you're not a fan, just don't watch. Like, I don't understand. I'm not like a big hockey fan. It's one of the sports I don't really watch. You don't see me just shitting on hockey. I just don't really watch it. So I don't really understand this kind of viewpoint. But again, that's my review of the first 2 episodes. There's a long way to go. It's going to be a very divisive show, as usual. But again, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.